And the product trials were looking at those grades and to see whether they would upgrade to become suitable for the steelmaking industry. And pleasingly, the mineralisation of Bekisopa upgrades very well at coarse crushing sizes to produce a fines product, and at coarse grinding sizes of 75 microns to produce what's called the premium grade product for the green steel future.
Hello and thank you for tuning in to the Assay TV, where today we're on day 2 of our mining investment event in Hong Kong. Today I'm joined by Paul Bibby, he's the Managing Director and CEO of Akora Resources. Akora Resources are a Melbourne-based exploration company with 3 prospective target areas covering over 300 square kilometres of iron ore tenements. So just to start, can you give our viewers a quick recap of Akora as a company? Obviously you only listed 2 years ago and your achievements since then.
Certainly. So we listed in December of 2020, which was very exciting for us. Then 2 or 3 months later it was COVID and the world ground to a halt. That didn't stop us, we kept working away. We've got a terrific team in Madagascar. So in those next 2 years we've had 3 drilling programs at our main project, which is Bekisopa. And we've defined the maiden mineral resource, some 195 million tonnes of iron ore, which has been shown to upgrade to 68% in a concentrate, which is quite exciting. So we've done the drilling programs, we've done extensive geological mapping and magnetic surveys, which has given us a very good understanding of the geology on the 6-kilometre strike at Bekisopa. In conjunction with all of the drilling, and there's been to date 148 drill holes, over 7 kilometres of drilling. And it's really quite shallow drilling. The deepest hole has intersected iron mineralisation to 300 metres, but most of them are shallow holes of less than 100 metres. In conjunction with the drilling, we've also done a series of what we've called product trials to understand what the product could be from the iron mineralisation at Bekisopa. So we've got outcropping iron ore grading 66%, 67%, and then a weathered zone below that, which we're seeing similar grade, 65, 66% iron. And then below that is what we call the fresh rock, which are lower grades, 35, 45% iron. And the product trials were looking at those grades and to see whether they would upgrade to become suitable for the steelmaking industry. And pleasingly, the mineralisation at Bekisopa upgrades very well at coarse crushing sizes to produce a fines product, and at coarse grinding sizes of 75 microns to produce what's called the premium grade product for the green steel future. And that can produce products of 68 to 70% iron in the concentrate with very low impurity. So a lot of work has been happening and we've really increased the knowledge at Bekisopa quite considerably.
So actually yesterday we had a panel discussion and our panellists were asked what commodity to look out for in the future, and they actually did say iron ore. Excellent. So I want to ask you the same thing. Why the focus
on iron ore? Yeah. Look, iron ore in our minds is the foundation commodity for all of industry. There's a lot of focus on the battery metals, the lithiums, the cobalts, nickels and so on, and they're all important for the greening of our future. But all of those products cannot be manufactured, they cannot be produced from mining all the way through to manufacturing without steel. You think of all the mining equipment, they're made of steel. The plants that these batteries and the cars are going to be made in have steel foundations and steel buildings. So steel is crucial. It's not just crucial in buildings and development in China, it's crucial for every commodity, so it's needed. So the pleasing thing for us is that we want to see the growth and development of these new minerals because that means there's going to be new factories, new plants, new products produced, and steel is going to be a part of that.
Absolutely. So let's circle back a little bit because you mentioned an infill drill program. Yes. Can we get some more detail on the orientation of the holes, the depth? You said it was quite shallow. Yeah. Can you just go into that a little bit more detail?
So last Wednesday on the ASX, we released the announcement on the infill drilling program. That was completed October last year. And the aim of that was to define the weathered zone of direct ship ore, the high-grade ore suitable for the iron and steel industry. The holes were shallow, from 5 metres to 25 or 30 metres, so very shallow, because we understood where this weathered zone was, and the orientation of the holes were mainly vertical, and all 85 holes intercepted iron mineralisation. 75 of those were high-grade iron mineralisation which we see being suitable for direct ship ore, which needs to be over 62% iron. And all you need to do is to mine the ore, crush it, screen it, and transport it to market. So it's a very simple, conventional process. In the infill drilling program, we saw grades of 66% from 10 to 12 metre intercepts and 65% in similar sort of intercepts. So our vision for production is, with selective mining techniques, to mine those areas and produce a high-grade premium direct ship ore for the blast furnace industry for making iron and steel.
Excellent. And you mentioned the MRE, so you have one.
Yes, we have one.
But you're due to update.
Certainly.
When's that happening?
Okay. So last year we produced the maiden resource. So that was the resource for the total of the 6 kilometre strike at Bekisopa. The infill drilling we finished last October, focusing on the direct ship ore. That information is going to be sent to the mineral resource estimators next week, because we only just finished all of the analysis of the results. So by the end of May, we're expecting a resource around the southern zone on the DSO only, which will be the tonnes and grade of that, which will then become the information for planning future production of that material.
So you're very confident that the iron ore at Bekisopa is suitable for the green energy transition. This is something that will be used for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we see two phases to our operation. Being a small company, we need to be able to get into production at relatively low capital costs, okay? And that's where the direct ship ore is a real bonus for us and sort of separates us from similar projects. Is for low capital, we can get in there, mine that at good grades, get a good premium and make a good margin. That's our vision. And then with that profit, we can then invest more into equipment to produce additional processing stages to produce an iron concentrate suitable for green steel. Because that material needs to be ground to, in our case, 75 microns, coarser than similar products being produced today and in the future, which might only be 20 or 40 microns. So we're coarser, which means we've got less equipment, less power to produce the plus 68% to 70% iron concentrate for the green steel.
Excellent. So we've heard all about Bekisopa.
Yep.
What's happening elsewhere? Is there any other activity in any other areas?
Certainly. We've got 2 other project areas, and last year, in conjunction with all the work at Bekisopa, we've got some tenements to the southwest, so closer to the port. Satrikala is the main one. It has a 10 kilometre strike, so longer than Bekisopa, and we've done the rock chip samples there, and they've graded 64.5%, 65% iron from those rock chips across the 10 kilometre strike. The highest grade was 68%, so fairly impressive. So with that knowledge, this year we'll be doing more work to progress the geological work leading into drilling later in the year.
Okay, so that leads me to my next point nicely. What can investors look out for in the next couple of months, the next year?
Okay. So with our work program, the first announcement will be by the end of May, where we'll be announcing the mineral resource estimate for the southern zone direct ship ore, tonnes and grade. Then that will be fed into the scoping study done by our engineering company, Wardell Armstrong, out of the UK. They will update the scoping study for that direct shipping ore leading into the green steel production as well, and give us an indication of the operating and capital costs. And because the mineral resource estimate this time will be in indicated and possibly even measured category, so a higher category of resource, we'll be able to publish those numbers and give our investors an insight to what we see as being low capital and low operating costs for the project. So that should be done. The resource at the end of May, end of, say, July, we'll have the scoping study updated. While that is happening, we'll be doing a magnetic survey at Satrikala and also at the Tra Marina deposit on the east coast. So that work will be finished possibly a similar time, sort of July or August. And with that knowledge, we'll then start doing some exploratory drilling at those two locations. So there's quite a bit of work to happen.
Certainly sounds like Akora has a huge year ahead of it. And I look forward to the news flow. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Look, it's a pleasure, Katie. The conference actually here, it's the first for several years, isn't it?
Yes, I know. We're so happy to be back.
Yeah, it's been intense. There's been lots of good interviews. It's gone well. So thank you.
Thank you so much.